I've been wanting to have more free time. I have been accustomed to working a lot, maybe 60, 70 hours a week. And so recently events have contrived to arrange that for me so I have more free time. But I'd like the money to stay the same as it was before. And so far that hasn't quite worked out. I'm still very comfortable and still, everything all is well. But I do like having that much money coming into my life, and I'm wondering how to soften myself to the place where I can free up my idea that money and time are inextricably linked.
Let us give you a beginning place in that, because there were a few things that we could feel from you as you were unfolding that we want to shine back to you in a way that you can really hear it. And that is, when someone talks about free time, there is the implication of bondage time. And from our perspective, we would say you are all free to turn your attention to whatever you choose. And when you are turning your attention toward work that someone else has lined up, or when you are turning your attention to work that you are choosing, or when you are calling the work play, or when you are just calling it something to focus upon, or when you are calling it something to focus upon that's someone's life through me, then it all begins to be freer feeling. Very often in your physical environment, people identify the free time with, and you said it very clearly to us here today, the unpaid time. So that means the free time is unpaid and therefore not all that good. And then there's that bondage time that is paid, which would be good except that it's bondage time. So you get all this feeling of freedom and not freedom all tied in with this feeling of money and time, and it's no wonder it becomes such a scramble to you. So much so that when you are having your free time, you're feeling lazy because you're not productive monetarily. And when you are having your productive monetary time, you're not happy because it's bondage time. And we say, and then it turns out that no time really is really good time and so what you sort of want to do is drop all those labels and all those barriers and just begin saying, here I am, a focused being, and I can focus here, I can focus here, I can focus here, and the only thing that I'm going to use as a qualifier of what this moment in time is, not time where I'm selling myself to an employer, or not time where I'm carving a little bit of it out for myself, but this is focused time where the focus is pleasing to me or the focus is not pleasing to me. Because what we notice, we have to tell you, as we watch you, and we watch all of you, is that some of the most exhilarating time that you and others feel is when you are in your bondage time, working on a project that someone else has lined up, but because of the intensity and the degree to which you are focused, some of your most life-giving, clear-focused thoughts come in that time. And you say, oh gee, so I not only get the money from this time, but I also get the life force, and we say, we would take the money out of the equation and just start thinking in terms of life force. We would begin to recognize that there's all kinds of free time. In other words, it's all free time. And that what you're looking for, whether you're at work, whether you're working on your own website, whether you're working for someone who's employing you, whether it's temporary work, whether it's more long-term work, that in any point in time, you have the ability to focus in a life-giving way or focus in a sort of life-sucking out of you way, and you are free to choose whichever it is in every moment, no matter what you're doing. That was really good. Did you write really good?
That's really
good. Because that's what is required in order to begin to recognize that you are the free being that you are, and that also is what is recognized in order to feel an expansion of time. Because as long as you're quantifying time, and as long as you're labeling it their time, my time, their time, my time, then you're always struggling against it. When it's your time, it feels like there's not quite enough of it. And when it's their time, it feels like you're giving too much of yourself to someone else and not keeping enough of yourself for yourself. What we've noticed, and we've shouted this from time to time as if you could all hear it better because we are louder. It usually doesn't work that way, but sometimes we notice that the very work that you would like to free yourself from is summoning a life force through you that you may not find as clearly and purely in any other place. In other words, it is in fact the answer to what you've been asking for. So we would begin using different terminology to try to soften those barriers, because even those who are self-employed feel a slave to their work from time to time. And what you're wanting to do is just begin saying things like, I always get to choose. I choose what I do. I choose the intensity with which I do it. I choose the power of focus. In other words, there are a lot of people who go to work every day who don't focus much at all, that take pride in thinking they're getting away with something. In other words, I'm here and they're paying me, but I'm not working. And we say, it is such a waste of life because they're not allowing what they're focused upon to draw life through them in a meaningful way. It's become a my time, your time battle instead of an opportunity to summon life through you. In time, you'll come to realize, and we know you know this usually, you don't know it so much in the framework of this question, but you know it on a broader general sense, that you are a creator, which means you are a focuser, which means anything that causes you to focus is your friend. And sometimes you'll see people who are retired who almost feel lifeless because they thought that they wanted to get out there and live their own life. They just didn't have any momentum about their own life revved up. And when the other momentum let go of them, they sort of feel like puppets where somebody's let go of the string, you see. And so the happy medium in all of this is to begin to say things like, I can focus happily no matter where I am, and I am focusing happily no matter where I am, so that both time and dollars become a non-issue, and focus and clarity and alignment becomes the only issue, and then you're joyful in your life no matter what you're doing. Esther laughs at Jerry. Every Saturday they receive a box from the office that is full of letters and accounting information and pretty much what has gone on, and he just cannot wait to dive into it. And Esther is eager about it too, but in the middle of a seminar, she's sort of relaxed and doing her best to have no thought. And Jerry's just digging through the box, wanting to read letters and find different things about it. And she teases him about how there's never a moment that he doesn't want to think about business. He's up in the middle of the night. He's making notes to himself. And it's not because it is work that needs to be done. It is because it is life-giving in nature. And focusing there is a soothing, satisfying thing to him. And that is what we wish for all of you. We wish for all of you something that is so compelling, something that is so pleasing to you when you're focused upon it, that it's like fresh air or delicious pure water, that as you take it in, you can feel that it is reviving in nature. And that is the way your work is meant to be. And in fact, that is the way all of your work would be if it were not for resistance that you conjure. And so, next time you drink a delicious glass of pure water, and you feel the pureness of it and the freshness of it and the life-giving properties of it, and as you're enjoying it, really focus upon how you are loving this taking in of this nurturing substance. And next time you open a window. Esther was in a forest in Boston the other day, and every time Jerry turned around, she was in the back of the coach with the windows open, sniffing the forest. He'd say, "Are you smelling the forest again?" Esther would say, "Yes, I'm smelling the forest again." There was something about the fragrance in the air and the particular plants that were there and the currents of the wind that were moving across the ground. It was a wind current that blew right through the back end of the coach that was so intoxicating, Esther didn't want to be anywhere else. She just kept putting herself in that wind current and sucking it in because she could feel the life-giving properties of it. It was so refreshing. And as you begin to focus upon the deliciousness of the oxygen, the deliciousness of the air, the deliciousness of the water, then begin to focus upon the deliciousness of the thought, the deliciousness of the focus, and discover that it's everywhere, this nurturing focus for you. And in fact, there is no place in your environment that it does not exist when you get focused upon it. And then you find yourself eager about whatever you're doing. Everything balances out. And in the absence of resistance, more of the things that really please you come to the forefront, and more of the things that have been a little less pleasing in nature go someplace else because they're not a vibrational match to what you have revved up, you see. Yes. This is how you don't get more time. You get more perceived, joyful time. And we think that's really what your question was about, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's exactly what I want. I find that I have an interesting experience of relationships with people, and it's really easy for me to love people and enjoy their quirks and their diversity.
In fact, the weirder they are, the more you like them.
Right, exactly. I really value quirks now. I think they're a good thing. But I find that I enjoy people a lot more from a certain amount of distance and very light interactions. And I find it more and more difficult the more I talk to people and the more I hear about their problems and difficulties in life.
As we said earlier, all of you are vibrating on different subjects in different ways. And there are aspects of them that you enjoy more than others. And so when you stay focused upon the aspects that you like the most, then that is the experience that you have. In other words, you're not meant to rendezvous with every aspect of every person. You're meant to rendezvous with the part of them that is most a vibrational match to the dominant active part of you. As you are dominantly aware of what you're doing with your vibration so that you're holding yourself predominantly in vibrational harmony with things that feel good, now the universe is lining you up with these others that are, in that moment at least, a vibrational match to you. Then we see you, not just you, but most of you. You come together with someone in this flash of really good stuff because the universe has orchestrated it, and you have this poignant moment, or moments, or day or two, or week or month. In other words, you have this important rendezvous. And then the intensity of that passes, and then you say, tell me about yourself. And as you begin to mine the minefield of one another, you begin to activate all kinds of other vibrations that are not a match to what you've decided you are now going to do in your deliberate alignment of energy. And then in time you get sort of guarded because it seems like every relationship sooner or later ends up like that. In your terms of psychology, you say, well, the good's just worn off, or, well, we've just gotten to know each other too much, or we're not on our best behavior. At first we were on our best behavior, and now we are not on our best behavior. And we say, we do not think that the majority of relationships that you come together with were meant to be much more than that flashing relationship that the universe aligned for you. But you keep wanting to make it out of obligation something that is so much more. And we think you would do yourself a great service if you would relax and say, hey, this relationship business is not my job. It's Law of Attraction's job. So if a friend calls and you really don't want to get together with them, then just say to yourself as you decline, it's not my work. It's not my work to hold myself a match so that you always feel good to me. Law of Attraction is sorting all of this out. There are a whole lot of you in this business of co-creating, and this is really an arena of co-creation because you're here to interact with so many, and there's a world of people out there just getting ready, getting up to speed to interact with you at any point in time. And when you decide that you already have your clump of interactors already assigned and you don't have room for any others, you miss all of the potential magic that is out there for you as what once was magic becomes less than magic. And we think on many deep levels you are recognizing that, you see. Yes. And we're not talking about your long-term relationships. We're talking about the majority of relationships that come to you.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're suggesting that what I found is the best way to stay in the flow is just to keep the interaction fairly short as long as it's really magical, and then move on. And it will be as short or as long as it continues to rendezvous. In other words, that you may very well meet someone that feels exciting, and as each of you or all of you are focused upon this project in a very positive way, the relationship may go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. But what we're saying to you is it's not your job to keep it alive. It's your job to keep your vibration where it feels good to you, and Law of Attraction's job to bring everything to you that matches that. And in that process, what we see, as we've witnessed those who have done such a good job of keeping themselves in a place of pure vibration, is that the people that move in and out of their lives usually move in and out very quickly. But they have glorious life experiences. We touched on this earlier, this feeling of obligation. And what we've noticed is that so many people come together in relationship from a feeling of lack or weakness. And they think that in the coming together in the relationship that then there will be more strengths that they can all mine. Where when you come into a relationship from your place of connectedness, it's a whole different game. It's so much more thrilling, so much more fun for everyone involved. Yes.